JusticeAid is an organization started 7 years ago which uses the arts to raise money for civil rights organizations. And we have focused intensely over the past half a dozen years on mass incarceration, racist mass incarceration in particular. This year, all of us on the board, and this 18 months ago, determined that for 2020, the paramount civil right was the right to vote. And that's why we have devoted the entire year to supporting Election Protection 866 Our Vote, which is a campaign of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. The Lawyers Committee, as you know, was formed by John Fitzgerald Kennedy's request back in 1963 to get lawyers from the private bar to take civil rights causes into the courts. And election protection is the largest coalition of nonpartisan voting rights advocacy and on-the-ground work to ensure free and fair elections. And that's why we chose them. And of course, the selection of this issue right now is completely aggravated by the novel coronavirus. COVID-19 is changing everything about how people are getting out to vote and making sure we do have free and fair elections. I'd like to spend a little time on partisanship because free and fair elections is a nonpartisan issue. It's a civil rights issue. Voter suppression is the partisan issue. Voter suppression, this is not a Republican or capital D Democratic issue. This is a democracy issue. So you can imagine if a leader says that we mustn't expand the right to vote by mail. I mean, consider that in the time of COVID-19. That is voter suppression. Consider how if somebody politically closes polling stations, as was done in Georgia in 2018, in majority Black districts, and as done quite recently, as you've heard, in Milwaukee in the recent Wisconsin primary. That's partisan voter suppression. Purging voter rolls is partisan voter suppression. Language barriers to absentee ballots is partisan voter suppression, as is unduly restrictive ID rules. The concern that this brings foremost to my mind is what happens to people who are disenfranchised over generations. They get utterly disaffected. And so it's fairly common for you to hear, why vote? My vote doesn't matter. And when someone says to you, my vote doesn't matter, please engage them in conversation and ask them, if your vote doesn't matter, why are they working so damn hard to suppress it?